At some point in all of our lives, we've tried to make ourselves a little better at something. Generally, whatever we seek to improve falls into one of three very broad categories, and those are mind, body, and spirit. Since my coaching work really started in a classroom with students, I've come to affectionately call this the self-development sandwich. Because not all of us enjoy the hard work of self-development, but who doesn't love a great sandwich? And just like the work of self-development is going to look a little different from one person to another, there are also innumerable ways to make a sandwich. By some definitions, a hot dog could be considered a sandwich. And there even exist open-faced sandwiches for those who want to be fancy and eat with a fork and a knife. It truly takes all kinds to make a world. There are as many possibilities as there are people to think them up. So bringing it back to self-development and our sandwich metaphor, if we were to break this down, it would look something like this. We would start with the bread, or our mindset. We would add the contents, or our physical practices and actions. And then we'd add the secret sauce, our condiment of choice, or our spirit. To build a great life or sandwich, we really have to start with a strong foundation, which usually means beginning with mindset, the bread in our operation. The science is in, and it is becoming more clear every year that we are what we believe. Our mind has the potential to be a powerful tool when used in our best interest, but also our biggest obstacle when left to its own devices. This is because our brain wants things to be simple and easy, but also to provide novelty and entertainment, which often leads to cycles of hedonic adaptation, meaning we always want more, or there's always a better bread out there, and the decision fatigue that leads to burnout. This is why it's best to start training our brain, or our mindset, to be the best bread that it can be. Because without it, the whole sandwich of life kind of falls apart. After we've worked on our bread of choice, the next step is to add the contents. This is the body of our sandwich, or our physical practices and actions. It's important to pause here and note that it's not like one comes before the other. Some folks buy the contents of their sandwiches or start taking action long before they've thought about the bread or consciously considered their mindset. In fact, action is a great place to start because it builds momentum. I even had a therapist share with me once when I was struggling to find the motivation to make food to just eat the parts. Her advice was that if you find it difficult to put everything together into a salad or a sandwich, just eat the parts. You're still getting what you need, it's just not as glamorous. And last but certainly not least is our secret sauce, our condiment of choice, or our spirit. Some folks choose to look at this through a religious or a spiritual lens, but that's not necessary at all. What I mean by spirit is essentially the connection we have to something greater than ourselves. What makes us come alive and lights us up? What's our why behind the question of why bother to do self-development or make a tasty sandwich in the first place? Knowing this, of course, is what makes the whole practice sustainable in the long term. Just like we may be able to force ourselves to eat a bunch of bland sandwiches for a while, we can also push ourselves through life without knowing our why for however long we choose. But eventually, to have a really great life, we have to get clear about our intentions and spice it up. And what it takes to live a great life, what that spice really is going to change from one person to another. We all have different definitions of greatness, just like we all have different tastes in condiments. Again, right? Back to that idea of all kinds to make a world. In the end, there is no right or wrong way to have a why, just like there's no right or wrong way to make a sandwich. The majority of it is left completely up to interpretation, and it takes each of us experimenting a lot to find what works for us. So, in a nutshell, there you have it. Our self-development sandwich. While we all may have different opinions, needs, and tastes, fundamentally the structure of it is similar. Mind, body, and spirit. Bread, filling, and sauce condiments. I've found that we're all a little bit more open to exploring the deeper aspects of our lives if we know how it all comes together to make a great life sandwich. Whatever your life sandwich is, I hope that it is by your definition of greatness. Because everyone deserves to have a great life, just like we all deserve to enjoy a good sandwich. I believe in you, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay. Are we ready? Never. Are we awkward? Always.